Welcome to Broncos Country Tonight. Got a lot to get to tonight. We're going to talk about the latest with injuries. Feels like we're doing this every single day. Got a couple more to add on to the pile, unfortunately, for the Broncos. But today we're going to start the show with conversation about a brand new quarterback. Brett Rypien named the quarterback for the Broncos this week against the New York Jets. Ben, you reported this. You called it. Even with the emo haircut, I still take you very seriously. Why are they going with Brett Rypien?
Well, I think they believe that he gives them the best opportunity to win. Brett Rypien has a quicker processor. He just processes the field more quickly than Jeff Driscoll, and that was a problem given the problems that they had along the offensive line the last couple of weeks. You can't have a quarterback that hangs onto the ball too long, doesn't read the field quickly. Brett doesn't have the strongest arm in the world. Certainly doesn't have Driscoll's 4 or 5 speed and big arm, but he does see the field. He does see things more quickly, and he's had more snaps as a starting quarterback, believe it or not, through his collegiate career at Boise State, which was rather prolific. And I think they just feel like for this game, he gives them the best opportunity to win.
Yeah, over 13,000 passing yards, 90 touchdowns, had 29 interceptions there at Boise. Mm-hmm. And you kind of wonder a little bit, he hasn't really had an opportunity where a guy like Jeff Driscoll has had opportunities, but like Bortles, who might get an opportunity to start as a backup until Drew Lock gets ready. Maybe the Pats game, for example, might be coming up. But he gets this opportunity, but you kind of wonder a little bit, and I don't want to get too far ahead here because sometimes we get that way about young quarterbacks that haven't got a chance. Maybe the Broncos did find a little bit of a diamond in the rough here.
Well, and he was a guy that Rich Scangarello banged the table for. In fact, the only reason he's here in Denver is because Rich Scangarello was trying to bring him in. I think that he has some potential. I think he's more of a long-term backup spot start guy in the league, but that's what you're here for, to be the spot start guy on a short week, He's got experience in the scheme. He knows these guys. I thought he had a better camp than Jeff Driscoll, honestly. I think that given my choice of the two, that's the one I would start in this situation. So we know Bortles isn't ready, and he's probably going to be the guy in the New England game. But for right now, you got a chance of Brett Rypien to go out, put some tape, show guys around the league why they've had faith in you to bring you in here in the first place, and maybe work yourself up into a Brian Hoyer type role going forward.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit about that training camp thing you mentioned there, because I'd say Brett Rypien did show the more consistency out there. There were times where we saw some flash from Jeff Driscoll, but the problem is the highs were up here and then the lows went pretty far. Brett Rypien kind of sort of just stayed the course.
There's something to be said for consistency in the NFL. That's why guys like the aforementioned Brian Hoyer carve out lengthy careers. Vinny Testaverde carve out lengthy careers. They're just not peaks and valleys. They're just steady Eddie. You know what they are. You know what they can do, and you can go with that. With Jeff Driscoll, every play is an adventure. You never know what you're going to get. Is it going to be a touchdown strike to Tim Patrick, or is it going to be the ball flopping out of his hands 4 yards in front of him while he looks stunned that the ball even left his hand? So I think that I think this is the right call, and for better or worse, Brett Rypien doesn't have the strongest arm again, but I thought he showed some energy on that drive. I thought the team showed some energy. He went 8 of 9 passing, and the one pass that he missed on was the interception. He missed the robber safety underneath, tried to split him for the touchdown pass. At least he was gunning for it. At least he was throwing for the end zone. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. This Jets team's a little banged up. He might be able to take advantage of it and pull out a win.
Well, and that's the part I wanted to get to next. Was it's a short week. It is a banged-up Jets team. The level of challenge that the Broncos saw against the Titans, against the Steelers, and against the Bucs is not what they're going to see against the New York Jets, even in a short week. Does that add some benefit for him to make that debut and make it look good?
I think so, but the one thing you don't want to do is underestimate a team, especially a team that's cornered like the Jets. Last thing you want to do is go after a cornered animal like that and underestimate them. So just because the Jets aren't very good and they aren't as good as the Bucs, Steelers, and Titans doesn't mean you want to sit there and ink in a W right now. You got to go out there, you got to play, because they got a bunch of guys over there that don't like losing either. And so you can't sit there and say, well, this is going to be a W and just mail it in. You got to go out there and do your best, give it your all. And I'm predicting a Broncos win, but that said, you can't just expect to get handed a W in the NFL.
Is there an inherent disadvantage though because he hasn't started in the NFL? That was the only argument I made on the radio show, that why I would consider going Jeff Driscoll. And by the way, Vic Fangio did leave the door open for seeing Jeff Driscoll at some point, which you kind of want Jeff Driscoll to prepare as if he might have to go in, and you also want to make the Jets prepare for two different quarterbacks. But more than anything there, on a short week going on the road, you did wonder a little bit if they thought, okay, maybe experience would be trumping the benefit of a guy that actually might play better.
I think Brett's got experience in the system just as much as Driscoll, if not more. I think that Brett's got more experience with these guys. Even though he doesn't have much NFL experience, he has more experience overall as a quarterback. So, and the other part of that is there's no tape on him. What are you going to do? Dig up tape on Brett Rypien? It's 2 days away from playing the Jets. What are the Jets going to do now? Frantically dig up tape from Boise State and try to look at that? I mean, you're 2 years removed from that. So, I think it's an advantage for the Broncos. You don't have any tape on this guy. You really don't know what he can or can't do. And so I think that they're going to have to adjust on the fly, and I think that benefits the Broncos.
How would you design an offense to best suit his skill set?
Heavy on the run. We're going to be coming off play action for him quite a bit. The passing game will be horizontal mostly. We'll take shots on occasion, but we really don't want to take too many shots with his arm strength. So we're going to pick and choose our spots with that. But we want to design an offense for this game that moves down the field in chunks. We want to make sure we're getting positive yardage, not get him too far behind the chains, because that's where he's going to make mistakes.
Yeah, and that was something that you saw a lot of in this last week against the Bucs. They got behind the chains way too many times.
Driscoll has the arm strength to bail you out. We saw that on the big play to Tim Patrick. Brett really doesn't have that, and so what you need to be really cognizant now. The difference is Brett's not going to take as many sacks as Driscoll did. He gets the ball out a lot quicker. So if it's me, your check game and your tight end are going to be heavily involved in this one, and probably a lot of slant flat type concept stuff that allows you to spread the field horizontally. And then when those safeties come down, that's when you take your shot when you get one-on-one.
Yeah, you want to see a lot of high percentage plays for Brett Rypien in his first start.